let's start off again. So, hello and welcome to the community talks version or whatever of the Grumpy's Rehab facility video. This is going to be posted on, thank you, OCS Cam or OCS KM for subscribing. We are going to talk about what Star Citizen needs the most right now. So, if you are currently watching this on Twitch, hop into my community Discord, and I'm amazed by the Twitch chat right now. Hop into my community Discord, hop into the pre-podcast voice channel, and I'm gonna drag you in, and you're gonna tell me your thoughts on the matter. What do you need the most right now from Star Citizen, and what do you want to see in Star Citizen the most? And we have our first caller, and I'm not really ready, but fuck it. Let's do it. I'm just gonna stop the music. And Noob. I'm just gonna call you Noob. Can I drag you? What is happening? I can't even fucking drag him. What's happening right now? There we go. Can we hear each other?
Yeah,
Noob?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Noob because what's the Noob? She's bot.
Bot.
All right. How you doing?
Kind of like a play on the old noob Cybot from Mortal Kombat back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm just trying to set everything up because I was not ready. But
I get you, man. This
just send me like 100 people.
Stuff's like really complicated junk, you know.
Yeah, it is very, very complicated. So tell me, I'm just trying to change your name here. No, wrong guy. Okay. All right. So tell me, what do you need the most from Star Citizen right now? What do you want the most right now?
For me, really, it'd just be the rework for the MobyGlass and all that. Because
okay.
I mean, now I kind of preface this that I'm an 8-year backer. I backed in early 2014, I think, and I've probably blown. I don't know. It's getting close to $2,000 now, but but I haven't played the game up until now. And I've only just kind of dabbled in 318. Like I said, I just backed and kind of stepped away because I knew, I'm pretty familiar with all the kind of tech stuff behind what's going on, and I knew it was going to take fucking forever.
Yeah.
But so I just kind of stayed away from it because I didn't want to get myself burned out on the game before it was even released. But I always said once they get the new kind of game engine in or the renderer, which is what they're working on now and stuff like that, that I would come back to the game and actually start playing. And that's what I'm doing. So, but I mean, that MobyGlass rework is probably, and specifically the star map is probably going to be the most probably important part. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it just sucks. I mean,
hold that thought for a second. I have food delivery on the door, and I'll be back in like less than a minute. Alrighty, I'm back. Salty made me do this. So you were talking about. Sorry about that. You were talking about the MobyGlass, and I would agree completely that it needs a rework like as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't think it's one of those things where they're just not trying to get that done. Because I mean, it's kind of one of those things too. I'm sure they want to get all that old Flash-based stuff out of the game as quickly as possible. That way, they don't have to try to support it anymore. But it's just getting there. You know what I mean?
But do you think that it's going to be better with the building blocks? Because we have like ASOP terminals are already made with the building blocks, and they're not really working that good right now.
Yeah, a lot of the problems I see with the ASOP terminals and stuff like that is just kind of like what they were talking about as far as the renderer goes. So that temporal kind of stuff that they're doing with inside the renderer. from taking from it data from one frame to the next, kind of screws with that in-game kind of menu stuff. But it seems
Hmm.
like they got a fix for that. They'll either take it out and kind of push that rendering of that UI into later on in the renderer, or the rendering path,
Hmm.
and that way that stuff's not affecting that, because I mean you see this kind of ghosting within the terminals, and I think that's what a lot of that is just the that temporal based stuff they're doing inside the renderer that's kind of screwing with all that. They
I wasn't really
so
talking
but
about the graphics. I'm talking about like you clicking on a ship and claiming another ship. Like the Ace of Terminal, I don't know how many ships you have, but like if you have a bunch of them, you would know that like you need to be really easy with it and slow with it for it to like realize that you clicked on let's say a Gladius, so it doesn't claim like a Hammerhead, for example.
oh yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I haven't got to mess with that a whole lot to see like the delay in that,
Hmm.
but it's kind of another one of those things where what they're doing with 318 is going to screw that up a lot too. Because with them kind of moving from this monolithic server design and busting this up and being more services based and stuff like that, where they're breaking that kind of off, I mean, you're going to have more lag time there before that, kind of ship microservice, response. Now, I don't know how they're doing all that, and it could be really simple or really complex, but uh, the uh, as far as that stuff goes, I really don't know, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
So somebody in the
the
chat said it sounds like lag. I mean, it is lag, but also what happens when that lag gets introduced into our MobyGlass? If
Yeah, well, a lot of that too is, I mean, they still gotta, I mean, go through and do all these optimizations on all that stuff too. And basically with them in 318 pretty much busting up the replacing, these core structures with underneath the game and the servers, I mean, it's kind of going back to square one. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
basically the whatever gains that they had as far as optimizations and stability all got brought back to nothing, you know? So they'll have to go back through, redo all that, re-go through, kind of eke out 200 milliseconds here, 20 milliseconds there, and refactor stuff. And I mean, it's just going to take time.
yeah.
And but at least now, I mean, from a tech standpoint, I believe, from just based off of my experience and dealing with this kind of stuff, uh, they're on the right path now. Finally,
Yeah, yeah,
now as
for
far as
sure.
as far as how scalable this stuff's able to get, as far as the game goes, uh, as far as like hundreds and thousands of players, I mean, you might be able to get that in a shard, but I mean, just I don't see where you could really ever get that over uh 256 players in a single area, just you because there's a whole lot of physics going on there too, as far as like, data going back and forth,
So,
that you can't really overcome.
so
So,
are you talking about server meshing right now? I'm trying to.
well, it's kind of encompassing all of it, you know what I mean? The server meshing stuff, I mean, that'll get them pretty far,
I
you
mean,
know what I mean?
you
But
with server meshing, you have some games that have like 3,000, 5,000 players in the same spot, so it's possible. Like you have Elite Danger, not Elite Dangerous. What's it called? The
yeah, Planet Side, I think
Dual
there was another
Universe. Yeah,
game.
Planet Side, Dual
Yeah,
Universe,
there's another game I seen. I think it was a kind of
Scavengers.
Asian game that was able to do that.
Yeah,
But
there is a bunch of
but
games that can do that.
yeah, but that like the hard part is between versus what those games did and what they're doing is just the sheer size. You know, with them, you having such a huge world space to move in between,
Well, like
where
with the dynamic server meshing, it doesn't really matter how big the world is because server is going to spawn for the particular spot where you're at, where the people are. So, for example, if you have a bunch of people on Lorville, there's going to be a server just for Lorville. If you have a bunch of people just on Hurston, on the whole planet of Hurston, if they don't exceed the server limit, they're going to spawn a server just for Hurston, etc. So
Yeah, I
that's the
mean,
idea. How it's going to work, like, we don't know.
but the hard, complicated part in behind that is getting that to work without you seeing a major hitch in game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, there's going to be
that's going to be
hitches,
the
of
tough
course.
part.
But
Yeah,
like, is
I mean,
this what you need the most right now from the game, from Star Citizen?
no, not me. I mean, like I said, I mean, I still got to, I still got to, plenty of experience as far as what you guys have already experienced. I mean, I haven't, like I said, I haven't really played the game a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
aside from just getting in, every once in a while, flying one of my ships around, crashing and then logging out and getting pissed off and going and doing something else.
Yeah.
So, eh, uh, so I mean, I haven't done mining, I haven't done all this other stuff. Now I've watched a lot of, I watched your content, Salty Mike's content,
Thank you.
other guys, and so I've been keeping up with the game. I just more or less come in, dump some money every now and then, and kind of screw around and kind of check out.
Yeah.
But but like I said, for me, it's really just more that uh, getting that MobyGlass rework in, because that would be a big boost as far as new players coming in. Because I mean, even though I'm an 8-year backer, I mean, technically, really, I'm a new player because I haven't played the damn game yet for very much. So that kind of new player experience, I hope they've been working on that, but who knows what they're doing there,
Yeah.
if it's going to be good or not. But I think more that MobyGlass rework's going to be a big booster as far as that goes, because I mean, trying to screw around with that star map and get from A to B, point A to point B, and do missions. I think I tried to do, I was trying to do a box mission the other day, and it's just a damn mess.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think,
I mean, a
like I
lot of
said,
the
that'll help a
systems
lot.
are like, hopefully with the rework of the star map and the UI, we will get a rework of the quantum travel system, because it's a pain in the ass. Like, it goes with the MobyGlass rework, because it's
Yeah,
basically I guess the same thing. It's not really the same thing. It's completely other tech, but it is a huge pain in the ass whenever you're trying to jump somewhere and the ship doesn't let you, or you don't have
yeah,
markers to jump, etc. Like,
yeah. It's
and
pretty
it's like
janky,
one
but
of the core things in the game. Like, you're going to be jumping around the verse. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty janky. I mean, the thing is about it is like, some of this stuff that they've been doing with the game and stuff like that over the years. It's kind of like, you wonder why the hell they bothered, because I mean, it was like, I thought it was pretty good in the just like the original flight model that was released when they came out with Arena Commander. I
Hmm.
I didn't know what was wrong with it. I thought it
Yeah.
felt pretty good. You know, and because I mean, you kind of had that dogfighting kind of type feel to it. That where you could stay up behind somebody, kind of shoot them in the ass. You know, but now it's just this jousting kind of thing, and all that. So I'm like, what the hell's wrong with the first one? But I mean, but
Yeah,
the
and they're gonna
and the same
basically
thing with the
revert it now
quantum,
to like
the same,
2.6.
yeah, the same thing with the quantum travel deal. It's like, what the hell was wrong with the first kind of quantum travel deal that they did? Because I mean, it was nice because you just kind of, you quantum to place. You got there pretty quick. But now it's like, I think you know quantum from the microtech to one of the, I forgot that it's the first kind of planet in the system. So it was a pretty good ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, it ended up being like a 7-minute debacle. You know, and it's like, God, this is just a waste of my time. And I hate get my time wasted in games.
And there's
Over
a lot of time
nothing.
sinks in Star Citizen. So would you
Yeah,
like to
and
have less time sinks? Like,
well, I mean, list.
traveling
I don't
from
mind
point
time
A to
things, but
point B is always going to be a time sink. Like, there's not going to be a
yeah,
fast travel thing in Star Citizen.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things that I don't mind as far as the immersion, but to sit there and drag it out forever kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Because that you could be doing something,
Yeah,
else. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
like I said, I think that jump, was almost 7 minutes long, and it's just I think that's just a little bit ridiculous. But I mean, overall, I'm not mad about it, because I mean that they'll balance all that crap out eventually.
Well, it's
And
still gonna be like that, but at some point, hopefully, they will give us something more to do in our ships. Like,
yeah, well,
the
it's kind of like
first thing
Chris
that
talked
comes to
about
mind,
the
just fucking give us Snake on our MFDs, so we
yeah,
can play
yeah,
Snake.
something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I remember some damn Star Citizen video eons ago, because you can't ever sift through all this crap that they put out over the years. That Chris was talking about. While you're in a quantum jump, you could get up and do engineering stuff on your ship. Maybe tune up on your engines or
Yeah,
whatever crap like that. So it's just a kind of lack of between balance and really they just ain't got nothing in the game yet as far as gameplay. I
like
believe that's changing now
once
that
the
they finally
items.
got these.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, no, go
I
ahead.
mean, I believe that gameplay. I believe the gameplay is changing now because I mean that's the one thing I've kind of noticed as far as a change now that they kind of got this major core stuff out of the way as far as the new database stuff and all that is they're actually starting to dump a lot of that in the game.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it that they didn't want to do that before because the more you add into the game, the more this kind of 318 type deal would have took. Because I mean, you just got more crap you have to go through and redo and hook up to the new database structure and all that. And so I kind of understand it, but you even kind of see it on the roadmap now, whereas before they would kind of work on a deal, drop a tier 0 or whatever, and then screw off and not come back to it for years,
Yeah.
you know. But now
Well,
they dropped like the cargo refactor, and you see that team actually continue to work on it, and the same with salvage. That team's continuing on to actually working on the vehicle munching and all this other stuff. And the thing is about it is like they say, that's that kind of bullshit excuse from Chris that I mean, they say, oh, with these, quarter, we can only do this in Squadron, because it allows us to polish these things out, you know, uh, when we're not holding to
it's a
these
completely.
quarterly release cycles. But that's all bullshit. They could have been doing this all
It's
before. In fact, that
not.
was the way they.
So I'm not gonna white knight, but I'm gonna tell you like it's a completely different thing working on a game that's like client based and is ran client side than working on a multiplayer, especially an MMO, because they are making an MMO and they have to make everything in mind that like mechanic that they're putting in needs to be usable once this game becomes a MMO. So, for example, the move all button in the inventory was not there with a tier 0 or tier -1 of inventory because it probably was there for Squadron 42, but it was not in Star Citizen because it would just be such a strain to the servers, and it is right now in 318. So they made a workaround. They made something like it doesn't matter. They made a tech that is going to give us an opportunity to like have a move all button. But the first iteration for me, like I wouldn't even fucking put it in without that. It was just basically copy pasted from Squadron 42, and it just didn't work. Like you don't know it because you didn't play a lot 317 and 315 and 316. But if you did, you would know that you would get like a carpal tunnel syndrome from like
Yeah,
tossing everything
yeah,
around left
clicking,
and right.
yeah.
It's fucking.
Yeah, then it would kind of shift back, and then you'd have to click it again
Yeah.
and all that other crap.
It
Yeah,
was so
I
stupid, and now
mean
you have the move all
the
button.
yeah the thing is about it is one, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do as far as Squadron goes. As far is it going to be ran on the client side, or is it going to be
It
a
is.
kind
It
of
is.
online where you're connected to a server thing, but you're in your own instance kind of thing?
No, no,
You know what I
no.
mean? As far as the
It's
single player.
as far as I know, they're not going to connect it to Star Citizen. That was the initial idea, but like it all changed. They made the Planet
Yeah,
Tech, etc., and
yeah,
it's
and
going to be
I
on the
don't.
rails. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't really know. You know, 'cause I mean that running stuff client side opens them up to a lot of kind of security stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so I really don't know what they're going to do there. But overall, the thing is, and this is kind of another myth I think is kind of in the community where everybody thinks that Squadron and the PU is two different games, and it's really not. Now they're selling it as two different games
yes.
just from this fucking standpoint of they want to charge you $60 or $70 for Squadron,
No, it's 25
and
now.
charge you
It's
60,
not that
60
much.
or yeah, but whenever they actually go to release it, it'll be more,
Oh,
right?
we will see. We will see. I mean, whatever.
And
The issue is that like most of the community, not even like Salty Mike knew until I made a video, and I know that he like dedicated a whole fucking stream to it. Most of the people didn't know that like Star Citizen was the main game that was promised back in 2012, and yeah, like
yeah, it wasn't really nothing about Squadron
yeah,
much, I mean, but uh, but anyway, it blew up into this whole thing, which I'm not mad about. I'm actually glad because I mean, uh, that it kind of blew up into this big thing, because I mean, I mean, where I'm at with gaming as far as I'm just sick of the same old shit every time with every game
yeah.
you get, they're nobody's trying to push anything as far as the technology forward,
People are
gameplay
not
forward.
just creative right now. That's the issue.
Yeah,
Most of
yeah,
the
yeah.
games are just
It's
not
just these
creative.
big, huge corporate shitholes that just
Yeah.
punch out the same old crap every year, and it's just, but people also eat the crap up. I don't know. I just, like I can't play like, uh, Call of Duty because I mean it's just like the same shit you had 15 years ago. I mean, you know, but
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
just
mean,
like
it's better
recycling the same
graphics,
thing over and over again, like Call of Duty, Battlefield,
yeah,
and games
and
that are
and
basically
sometimes the
like that.
gameplay gets even worse. You
Yes,
know, you
yes,
actually get a regression in the gameplay.
yeah.
So,
Well, Grifter,
you
there's
know,
a Grifter just said in the chat, copy paste games are all AAA studios are doing right now.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's
because
a
it's
reason for that
yeah,
because they don't want to like
they,
invest in
they
something
want
that
to take
they're not sure that they're gonna get like
yeah.
a profit
Well, they're
from.
kind of beholden to their shareholders, right? So and they don't want to take big unnecessary risks,
Yeah,
with the money, right?
yeah.
And whereas a indie game like Valheim, they could do whatever they want, you know,
Yeah, and
and
they don't want to invest more money than it's needed.
yeah,
Like I'm currently making a video on that, and it's this like the same thing happened with the music industry. Like it was completely
yeah,
different up until the 80s, and when
yeah,
the 80s happened, like in the 90s you had the super producers, 2000s
yeah,
also,
yeah.
but
You
now you
you
have like
notice this,
yeah, go ahead.
you kind of notice this kind of shift into how music was done, where it was
Yeah,
kind of live recorded in a studio, and it wasn't, now you got kind of it's all just synthetic, really
yeah,
feeling,
that is not an issue
and
because like you can still, but we are derailing the whole podcast right now.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
the issue is that it's all about the money, and once
yeah,
you have like
yep,
uh, bankers that are running the things,
yeah,
then you're going to have products, and most of the music right now and most of the
yeah,
TV and movies are basically just
yep,
products that are made to sell, and that's it. And
yeah.
that's what's
They're
happening
not
with the
they're
games
not
right now.
really creative endeavors
Yeah,
anymore.
and
You
that's
know,
where Star Citizen is like an uncut diamond in the sand because it is different, but
yeah,
it's still uncut and it needs to be polished a lot.
yeah,
But that's why we like it. Basically, that's why
yeah.
we play it.
Yeah, I mean
Anyway,
that's why I back Chris because I mean I think I mean he's the only guy out there that's wanting to do something next level and crazy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I mean it's kind of like Elon Musk kind of factor. It's like, hey, he might be bullshitting a little bit, right?
Okay, a
But at
lot.
least he's trying to do something interesting, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah,
and a lot of people can get behind that, because I mean, a lot of people are just tired of the same old bullshit,
yeah,
and but anyway, like I said, we kind of gotten off the rails there a little
yeah.
bit, but
So, is there
yeah,
anything else that you think the Star Citizen needs right now?
man, it's hard to say because I mean, it's more just the gameplay,
Yeah,
getting that gameplay in. I mean, just all of it, the science deal, whatever the hell that means. Just getting all this stuff in because I mean, it's hard to criticize the game, when you don't even know what the hell the game is because none of the gameplay is in the game. I mean, you got your kind of PvP stuff, but really that's it, you know? And
yeah.
I mean, you got the mining stuff too, but like I said, I haven't got to play that stuff, but I mean, but really that's just about it. I mean, you're getting like some kind of, hole scraping or whatever with salvage, but which kind of
Mm-hmm.
looked boring for more than maybe 10 minutes, Uh the but like I said, just getting the rest of that game, those gameplay loops in and getting it to where they can start hashing that stuff out and where the backers and stuff can start seeing, hey, this is where they're going with this,
Yeah.
you know, because I mean it's not like I've seen any design white papers on these gameplay loops, so I
We
can read it and
basically know
like look and
nothing.
see
Like
it
whatever they said already, like it's probably changed.
changed five
Yeah,
times,
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean it's just I want to know what the hell are you doing with this,
Yeah.
what the hell is science gameplay? What does that mean? Am I going to be
So what you're
scanning some
saying,
goddamn, herb off of some stupid ass planet and making some drug or something. I don't know. You know, I mean, but like I said, I just want that stuff to start getting in the damn
so
game.
what
Because
what you're
it's
saying
past
is
time.
that not only that you need more stuff in the game, you also want more transparency. Is that what you're saying,
Well, I mean, it's more
or more like
transparency from
information?
it's like, what the hell are you going to do with these gameplay loops? I
Yeah,
mean, what's the end goal? What's the end game for these gameplay loops? You know
yeah,
what I mean? Where are they going to go with it? I mean, some of the stuff you can kind of see where they may be going with it. As far as like the components and stuff like that, you could kind of maybe get a little bit off of it, but in the end, you really don't know because they could change their mind 5 minutes from now.
yeah.
You know, and
That's true.
I mean, like I said with the components, it's like I've heard this stuff where maybe a player's going to be manufacturing this stuff, but then again, they're going to have these kind of RPG like you know blue legendary and all this other stuff components or something like that. Yeah, and it's like, but you don't know. You have no damn idea,
Yeah.
you know. And it's kind of worrying to me. It's like, do they have any goddamn idea?
I mean,
Because
I guess we'll
that's what I
see.
get worried
I
about.
guess we'll
I mean, I
see.
get they probably have an idea, but like I said, until they start getting the crap in game, who's gonna know, man? You
Yeah.
know, even they don't know. Because I mean, uh, I remember some developer said something in one of the Salty Mike's chats, and it's like it's kind of how to give feedback and all this other stuff, and it's like don't tell us what to do or how to do our jobs. It's like, yeah, but the problem with that is maybe your design sucks,
Yeah.
you know maybe just it needs a whole reboot. you know and I mean, yeah, we could say, hey, this feels bad, or getting up 5 minutes after you dump out two boxes out of your vulture, after you've been hole scraping for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and having to screw around
That
with that.
design is just like plain dumb, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just piss poor. I mean, I don't mind moving around the boxes, but having to stop, every minute to do that is just annoying as hell.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that's stuff they can fix. Will they fix it? Who knows,
I
man?
guess we'll see. I
you
guess
know?
we'll see.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
just
I gotta cut in now. We have two more callers, so
okay.
thank you for joining.
All right, thanks, Grumpy man. Like I said, I love you. I love your content,
Love you
man.
too, dude.
Appreciate you, man. So we'll
Appreciate
we'll
you too.
hopefully I'll get to talk to you sometime soon, man.
All right.
Thanks.
See ya. All right. So the next caller is going to be Scarred Citizen. Give me a second. Chad is not really working on this scene. This is so fucked and scuffed. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's all impromptu, I guess. Scarred Citizen, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm really tired. I'm really sleepy. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm
Good.
currently trying to. Okay, there we go. Okay, I change your name right now. So,
It's okay.
what are your thoughts on the matter, on the topic?
I agree with Noob. We really need a MobyGlass and star map
Hmm.
upgrade, redo, whatever they want to call it. It's terrible to work with. It really is. Now, as far as what we need in game or what we would like to see in game, so if you talked to me about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, I was playing with a group of up to 5 guys almost consistently every night.
Hmm.
And I would tell people, Star Citizen's not boring. There's a lot of things to do. Well, 318 has been dragging and dragging and dragging, and all of those guys don't want to play anymore, which I understand
Yeah.
because the wife's coming and so on and so forth.
So,
Well, I've
when did you start playing Star Citizen?
uh I think my account was opened like June 4th of 2022.
Okay, I know that, but other people don't. I know that you're like
Okay.
basically a new player.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
new player that played, oh God, an ungodly amount right away for the first 4 months
Me
I was
too. Yeah.
playing.
Yeah.
Um, Now as far as what we need, well, now that all those guys are gone, I was trudging on through Star Citizen saying I can find things to do. It is really hard to find things to do.
Yeah. That
Like,
are not the same thing, or like a bit different, but still the same thing. Like, yeah, you
yeah,
can do bounty hunting, and then you can do VHRTs, but you have ERTs, and that's like the difference. You have like
y-
bigger ships. It's still bounty hunting. It's still the same thing.
and so I say my, but we're not, it's not my team. It's a conglomerate of guys. We all work together. We all
Hmm.
have our own ideas and opinions. So I don't want to misconstrue that. But the guys that I was hanging around with, we were forcing player interaction. We were forcing shenanigans. We were forcing things to do. We were making it interesting. When you're by yourself, it is as empty as the Californian desert. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
So as far as what I would like to see, I'd like to see more player interaction in missions. Not just click a button and accept a bounty hunting contract on a guy that's got a CS stat of 3. That's no, I'm like more player interaction, more things like Xenothreat, Jump Town, things like that. Yes, I know we're getting Korea and 318, but once again, how long is that going to last before it becomes stale and nobody's showing up there anymore?
I mean, people are gonna show up there because they have a crime stat and they gotta clear it. So, like, that's the only spot where you can clear it. So it's gonna be active, but it's still, yeah. I understand your point. Like, I said that I said the first time I played Xenothreats, I was like, "Oh, holy shit, this is amazing!" And like the second time I played it, like 2 days later, I was like, "Okay, I can see issues with this." And now when I play it, it's just like whatever. It like big ships, eye candy, pew pew, and that's it. Like there's
So,
no depth to it.
so you want to know something funny, Grumps?
Hmm.
I've never played Xenothreat. It's never been in the regular PU.
Yeah, I know.
Not since I've started. Not
You,
since I've
I think
started.
you
So
saw me streaming Xenothreat.
yeah, at
Yeah.
that wonderful Gen 12 frames per second. Yeah, it
Yes.
was fantastic. It was great.
You're gonna have the same experience,
Oh, I'm sure I
unfortunately.
will.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will. Um, Now I know we're a long way off from this, but planet side, there needs to be some sort of life.
Yes.
I don't even care if there's some bounty hunting missions to go and get, I don't know if you would call it bounty hunting missions, but a hunting mission where you can go and find some sort of legendary animal similar to Red Dead Redemption, or somebody needs
Yes.
some sort of material from said animal, go and get it for me. Yeah, they sound a little dull, but at least it's something else. And I also agree that with Salty Mike that there needs to be some sort of drive to the economy for us to keep going. Because buying a ship, grinding for 3 weeks to buy a ship, and then you have said ship.
Yeah.
And then you do your ERTs or your criminal missions that you have that you want to do. But then what?
Exactly.
It gets too dull too fast. But yeah, I think this game really thrives on player interaction, and there's a lot of people that want to have nothing to do with other players, and I get that, but I thrive on that player interaction. I feel we need more of it.
Yeah. Well, we need a lot of things in the game. Like for me, it would be the perfect game, the perfect time in Star Citizen for me would be like not even hopping into my ship, just like staying planet side, staying in a landing zone and having missions to do there to like earn some money. And then you get into your ship, you go to another planet and spend a day there. Because like the planets currently don't have any purpose. Like, yeah, they're
No.
there, they're beautiful, whatever, except the rocks that are like floating around. But they're mostly beautiful. And then what? Like, you can make screenshots, or they can give us a lot of missions like they started to with the outposts, the derelict spaceships, and all of that. And then you can go there and do your missions. But you still need like a source of transportation to like move you around to like get from a point to a point. And mostly you don't even stay on that one planet. Like for example, I would love to leave to live like on Daymar and be there, not with a hab or whatever. I would just like to be there and do a bunch of missions there, get some money, and then continue to like another planet when I get bored of Daymar, basically. But currently there's nothing. Like you said, if we get what did you say, legendary animals, that would be fucking amazing, right?
Yeah, it would
Just
be
like
fantastic.
exploring until you find it and then trying to hunt it down to like get the whatever leather or whatever. That would be amazing. But yeah, it's yeah, go ahead.
May I
Sorry.
respond to something I saw in chat?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, I understand server meshing is holding back a lot of the stuff that we're asking for.
Oh,
But at
it's
the same
Citizen more.
time, why are we adding PES that's going to put even more pressure on the servers and cause possibly even more problems with the servers? I
Well,
understand they're working on it. I
it's
understand that's the dream. Go ahead, Crumb.
you need it
Correct
for
me if I'm
server
wrong.
meshing. You're not wrong, but you need it for server meshing. That's why, because they need to like introduce that to the game first, and then figure out how to make server meshing around that. That like because they already have that idea, they already said that like most of the things, the like Chris saying that like you can drop a cup in the middle of woods and you can like find it like hours later or months or whatever. So they promised that a long time ago, so they had to do it. Although in the end, it's not going to work out as they said. Like it's not going to be the same thing, basically. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I understand that. I've made, I don't want to derail this too much, but I've made
Go ahead.
the comparison that CIG is like a chef in the kitchen right now. They got 20 pots on the stove, 16 are boiling over, but they need the other 4 pots to be done before they can pour that boiling pot of whatever into the next pot. And it's kind of frustrating to see. I understand it, but it's frustrating to see.
Yeah. And then you have that one guy that's like the what would Chris be in a kitchen? The main chef?
Yeah, he'd be the executive chef.
The executive chef that will like tell him not to even fucking do that. Do the other dish that they were working on, and that like that other dish is completely derailing the main dish that we fucking paid for and are waiting for.
I don't follow a lot of the Inside Star Citizen stuff, so a lot of the stuff I hear comes from you and comes from other content creators. But I feel like sometimes he's got too many, as I call it, shower ideas or toilet ideas, and then they get thrown in there, and other things get left alone. I don't know if that's true, but it feels like it at times.
Well, you can say that, yeah, because he just announced. Well, during CitizenCon, Salty Mike and I just talked about it. He announced the like skill points in Star Citizen. That like there was never a thing, but he just like realized under the shower that he needs skill points. Therefore, they're gonna do skill points, and like dude, like why? Most of the community is not gonna like it. Like most of us don't like that idea. But yeah, sure, whatever.
The draws to this game was everything was based on player skill and not
Exactly.
earning XP to get to uh said skill to push this button and nuke everything on screen, similar to like Diablo 2 and Path of Exiles and all those other games. That's not why I came here. I came here because I wanted to challenge myself and play a beautiful looking game at the same time. As far as other things that Star Citizen needs, um, I don't play the criminal side too much, but when I look over on that side of the screen, there doesn't seem to be that much compared to the lawful side. Maybe we need some more criminal elements to it. I hear a lot of people bring up, well, when the Spirit comes out, the Spirit E1, we're going to be able to do VIP missions. My first response is, that's great, but if we have VIP missions, if they do them similar in tiers like the bunkers and the bounty hunting and all of that
What
stuff,
do you mean by VIP missions? Like transport missions? Like
correct,
yeah,
transportation
okay,
missions.
right?
My first response is, that's fantastic, but at around tier 4, tier 5, criminals with crime stats of 3 or higher or 4 or higher, they should be allowed to see that and come and hunt you to try to destroy your VIPs, assassinate your VIPs.
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing and create more fantastic, crazy gameplay.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
they are working on the crime stat missions, like for on the criminal missions. I mean, they added the delivery missions, which is not really that good, honestly. Like, it's just like copy pasting the mission and making it a criminal mission. But I guess they're gonna do more of those once they introduced the whole mechanic. They said like a couple of, maybe 6 months ago, that even if you don't have a crime stat, the security forces are going to remember you and shoot at you like on site, like whenever you're close to them, because you, I don't know, did a bunch of crimes in that area. So once that happens, then pirates and criminals are going to have a lot of issues, and then they're going to give them their like game loops and all that.
uh, Another thing that Star Citizen needs, the ability for players to trade with each other.
Yeah, that is true. Like especially now with the looting mechanic, you can do it to a degree, but it's also not really trading. Like you have the ammo trader, and people can send you money, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
I did sell some of my like subscriber armor to people for like 5,000 Alpha USC, whatever. And if it was like a bigger deal, if I wanted to trade something more, but also what would you trade right now? That's the issue. There are no like really rare items.
I'm not, well, yes, the rare items would be fantastic to trade, but me being able to just click on my friend and say, here, take this gun or take this ammo without me having to fly out of an armistice zone and drop it on the ground and hope and pray it doesn't fall through the planet or fall through my ship.
Okay, so that's going to happen because the armistice zones are going to be lifted up, and there will be no armistice zones like anywhere at some point once we get actual security that actually works. So you have already some orgs that said that once that happens, they're gonna like take over, let's say, Lorville, and you will have to pay them to like access Lorville. So at that point, you will be able to use your weapons. That's why you have like all of those security checkpoints on Lorville and other stations, because you will like customs and all of that. Because at some point, if you don't have a good like status with them, if you're whatever points. If you're not respected by them, you will not be able to enter with your weapons, for example.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, but that's like the far future.
Yeah, it seems like everything we talk about is in the far future,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be what's the word I'm using? I'm not trying to be a pessimist. Um, and I'm not going to white knight with my next statement here, but it feels like 2023 is a make or break. If we can get through 2023 and PES is in good, stable working order, the servers are in better condition. I'm not going to say perfect, but in better condition.
Yeah.
I think with all the new hires and the new offices opening, we could get the ball rolling here pretty quickly. I hope. I'm having my fingers crossed. I'm not going to bank on it. I'm not going to say that letter from the CEO is 100% correct. They're going to make it on time. CIG still needs to prove me wrong.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
And I saw another comment earlier that the game is slanted towards pirating. That is not true, at least not in the current patch.
Yeah.
I've tried pirating for over 3 months. I've gotten paid out twice, and I've actually been able to get myself on a ship once.
Well, that's a skill issue.
So usually it's an Alt F4 or
I know. In 318, that's not going to happen anymore. They took that whole mechanic out. So 318 is going to be a piracy patch, basically. But also, why would you do it? Like, there's no purpose in pirating right now, except if you want to role play as a pirate, and that's it, basically.
That's all it is. And it's for me, it's forced player interaction and seeing what kind of things they can do back to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've definitely had I've rolled up on a guy in a free max and told him to hand over some money, and next thing I know, the back door's opening up and there's railgun shots being fired out of it. That's fun. That's fun. I don't like the Alt F4 and the bed logging.
It is. Like the most fun that I had when it comes to piracy, like somebody was doing what's it called? The Hurston dynamic mission from like Konstantin Hurston, and you gotta like pick up a safe and you gotta deliver it to Konstantin, and he lost his ship to something. I think it like got blown away by wind or whatever, and he asked like in chat if somebody can help him. I went there with my friend with a cuddy, and we were like in the piracy mode at the time, and we got him in the cuddy, and I flew over to like open space, and I told him, okay, so you gotta pay us 100K or I'm gonna shoot you and like steal your safe. And he was like, dude, no, I'm not gonna pay you 100K. So we shot him, and then afterwards he negotiated to finish the mission basically, and we like got like 5K out of him. But like it was fun. It was like a fun interaction with him, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we need right now. In my opinion, I don't know about chat, about how you feel. I think Salty Mike said it earlier. The only way to really make this game fun, once you've gotten your ships, you've gotten your armor, you've gotten your guns, you have to LARP, because that's about the only way you're going to be able to get anything out of this game right now.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because the game is beautiful.
It is.
And as people say, there's a lot of what's the word that I'm looking for? I just talked about it like a couple of minutes ago. I'm so fucking tired. Never mind. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll remember it at some point. I don't know. Continue, please.
I don't really know what much more we can really add or say that Star Citizen needs outside of the basic things that have been covered. You know, MobyGlass, Star Map, more player interactions, maybe an outside threat every once in a while. I'm not saying Xeno threat. I'm saying like we have these ships that are supposedly made by the Vanduul and the Banu, and I forget who else there is in the game, but why can't they? Yeah, why can't they come over and give us a hard time every once in a while, or all of a sudden they appear in the Aaron Halo while I'm trying to mine, or
Yeah.
something.
So potential was the word that I was looking for. Star Citizen has a lot of potential, but it just doesn't do anything with it. Like on that topic, I was always weirded out by the fact that we have an alien week and we don't have a single alien spotting in the verse. Not even like a ship, like let's say like they changed one of the VHRTs to be like a Banu Defender, or they like just suddenly gave us some kind of Easter eggs with Banu or whatever race you're into, just walking around Area 18 or whatever, and you see him and you're like, oh shit, that's not a guy, that's like not an armor, and then like it's Alien Week, and that's why we have those. So that will be fun to have, but they're not doing that though. So yeah.
It is it sad that we have to that we give. Well, I want to word this properly because I don't want anybody to come after me. I think it's sad that as players or viewers looking from the outside in can give such low-hanging fruit that, at least I don't know the technical side, so I might be speaking out of place, that we give such low-hanging fruit and such minor things that would change the game. I don't want to say change the game, but alter it in a way where it's new and it's fresh without really, in my opinion, breaking the bank or having to spend a lot of labor hours to do such things.
Well, yeah, and that's completely fine for you to say, because you can see that like most of most the best things that we got in the past year were done by people that like did it on their like pastime. Like they didn't really need to do it. Like for example, racing. The first racetrack was made by a guy from Montreal because he was bored and he didn't know what to do, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna make a racetrack, the Snake Pit, basically." So if that's possible, why not? Now that we have like planetary meshing or planetary meshes for NPCs, why not have like actual fauna? For example, I know that they started talking about that, but it's gonna take a while until we get that.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a great point. The racing was done on somebody's free time.
Yeah.
And what was it? That track was added, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
The Snake Pit that was added
Yeah.
3 months ago. And now 3 months later, we have 4 new tracks, a PTV track,
Yeah.
and they're talking about adding or refreshing the AC race tracks and possibly, if I'm not mistaken, adding 2 more new tracks. Well, if that
But see,
snowballed that
like none
fast,
of that was planned. Like if you took a look at a progress tracker, or if you took a look at the roadmap, none of that was planned. It just happened because Nemanja Panic from Montreal did that, and they were like, "Shit, we can do it. It's not that hard. Let's do it."
so why couldn't we get them to tackle another gaming loop like that? Am I missing something? Is like, let's take bounty hunting, because it's one of my favorite things to do. Would it be that much harder to revamp the system and make it either more challenging or add more tiers or add different ships other than me going to a VHRT or ERT and it's the same old Connie, same old Hammerhead, same old Valkyrie and Wardens every single time?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they can do it, but they're just like working on Squadron 42, and that's it.
Yeah, that damn thing.
Yeah, that meat shield that you're using.
I say the same thing. It's a digital meat shield.
Yeah, I mean it is it is that. I'm sure that they're actually working on it, but Jesus Christ, we're paying for Star Citizen. We're buying ships for Star Citizen. If we want to invest into Squadron 42, we gotta buy it. Like we can buy it. and then you like take like that money from Star Citizen, you invest into Star Citizen, into Squadron 42, and you're like, yeah, you're not gonna get anything in the next year, basically because we're working on another game. To me, it's a bit like douchey, but yeah, whatever.
One last thing, and then I gotta go. I gotta get ready for work.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to say server stability is another thing that we need. I just don't know how achievable that is right now. Maybe you have better insight on that than I do.
I mean, I don't. I can tell you that the tick rate issues are basically caused by their bad coding or the sheer amount of items that are spawning inside or on the servers, like inside the verse. So if they somehow realized or made, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of like the wording so somebody that doesn't get like pissed off, but they need to find what?
I said too late, Grumpy.
So they need to find a way how to fix that. It's not like I can say what I think, but it doesn't matter in the end. Like, for example, when we had the positional desync that we have still in the game, we still have invisible people or invisible players, etc. So most of it is not really fixed, but it got like fixed to a degree, let's say like that. But when we had that, I knew that that was a server issue, that was like a netcode issue. Nobody fucking believed me, but I like, it was so obvious. You go into Reno Commander, you do a 1v1, and you see positional desync. It's a fresh server spawned for 2 players, and you can see positional desync. And I knew that it had something to do with smoothing or whatever. And I was talking about that for like basically a year. And then they said, oh shit, we had like smoothing on because the server tick rate was so bad. So we just like took it off and now it's better. I mean, it is better to a degree, but it's also worse for some other things, but it doesn't matter. So that is a netcode thing. And that's something that they need to work on. But honestly, I understand why they're not working on it, because they still need to like implement a ton of other things. So what's the point in like stabilizing the server if the next thing that you introduce to the game is going to break it again?
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like I said, I figured you'd have more insight than I do. I mean, I'm looking at this as a
I'm
player.
just like speculating here, honestly.
Okay. That's really about all I have. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm sure you got other callers and other people.
We have
like
Auburn,
chat.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
I saw your Reddit post the other day, or not the Reddit post that you made, but somebody else made it. It looks like you shaved your neck beard. Did you get it all?
Yeah. I found a treadmill. It was like hiding on my attic, but I found it, and the neck beard is off, and also my videos are not shit anymore.
Oh, well, good job, Grump. Good job.
Thank you.
You have a great day, man, and thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing what you do.
This. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Right. Bye.
Take care.
So that was Scar Citizen, and the next caller that we have is Auburn. If you want to hop in, and if you want to talk to me, and if you want to speak your mind on the issues of the game and the main topic, which is what does Star Citizen need the most, hop into my community Discord. You can see it. It's linked here in the About Grumpy ITV. So you can just click on it. You can hop into the pre-podcast area. I'm going to drag you in, just like I'm going to drag Auburn in. If you guys don't hop in, Auburn is going to be the last caller, and I'm going to end the stream after that. So we have Auburn. Auburn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing okay. I'm not going to say good because I'm hungry and I am super tired, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
And also everything that could like go wrong went wrong, basically.
Yeah, I saw it at the start of the stream. Everything balked, basically.
Dude, even the chat, I don't know what's happening. Like for a second there, I was like, am I even streaming? Because I'm not streaming directly to Twitch. I was streaming to restream. That's like another thing.
Mhm.
Let me just change your name. There we go. So, what do you have to say about yourself? I'm kidding. What do you have to say
do I have to
on the
defend
topic?
myself? No, what I think Star Citizen needs the most, and
Mm-hmm.
all these things that discussed about like just the user experience increasing. I think we now should start to see things kind of come together where, mining and salvage isn't like a separate entity, right? And it comes together into something that we can work towards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like manufacturing items or something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what it will be. You have laranite and titanium, and I don't know what the materials are, but you can like make a weapon from that, right? I would love to see that because then you have an actual thing to work towards that
Yes.
can kind of feed back into the game itself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's because I always disagree when people say, "Oh, mining is a game loop." I think it's only a mechanic, and a game loop is something like a profession for me, right? Like, oh, I have my org. I want to have an org that has a factory, and we run that factory, right? Creating, items for the players that we can sell to all the hotspots, like ArcCorp or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and if that comes together, then the game can kind of run itself, right? And CIG is going to be in a position where they're like, okay, these guys are having fun long term. We don't have to worry about dropping too many ships, right? Everything is there that we need, right? And these guys are happy
What do you
well,
mean we don't need to drop any more ships?
I don't know. I mean, like, as in, there's no pressure, right, from us on CIG because we kind of have a game that is enjoyable for longer periods of times, right? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
it's like when the Corsair dropped for a second, everyone's so hyped up about the Corsair, right? And then a month later, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a ship," Like,
Yeah, but it's their business model. They gotta
yeah,
they gotta drop ships. They're like gonna release the game in
yeah,
like 10 years from now, and they're still gonna be dropping ships.
I'm just
So
saying they can really drop the pressure on
yeah,
themselves as developers, right?
yeah. Sure, I understand you.
Yeah.
But like, so for you, crafting would be that thing that you think that CAG should focus on.
I mean, I come from playing games like Space Engineers,
Me too.
Foxhole,
Yeah.
right? Where things like that are a major part
Mm-hmm.
of the experience, right? So I'm a bit biased, of course, but that those games play themselves, right? You enter the game, and if you have some overarching pressure, right, like an enemy in Space Engineers with a mod, right, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
continuously attacks you, then you have the pressure of like keeping the expansion going, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in Star Citizen, right? We don't even have the function to kind of fight against something, right? It's just the world is there, and if we want to fight something, we take a mission. There's no overarching pressure from the game itself for us to do anything.
I didn't really understand this. Well, could you elaborate?
The game doesn't nudge you in ways it wants you to play it, right? Like it's kind of like just a sandbox right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you,
Well, that's
you
the
enter
idea
the game,
behind Star Citizen, right?
yeah, but I think it will be a bit stale, right? Like a sandbox if it has no pressure on the player, right? Like for an MMO, I don't know if that's gonna end too well, right? Like
Yeah.
everyone's
Well,
kind of just
currently the only
doing their own
pressure
thing.
is fear of missing out. Like, and
Yeah,
I'm not even talking about like buying ships with real money. I'm talking about like grinding for ships.
yeah,
Because you're
that's
gonna need the Eclipse for Jump Down. You're gonna need the Retaliator for Jump Down, etc. So, like, the main point of playing the game right now, and in the past 3 years almost that I have been playing, is just like grinding,
yeah,
and
it's just grinding.
it gets stale and boring. Yeah,
There's no creativity you can infuse into the game, right?
yeah,
It's just you grind towards very, very consumerish goals, right? Like you just buy with whatever you earn.
exactly.
There's
And
no
they're
oh,
always
I
gonna
have
open more
this.
shops in the game,
Yeah.
more like Lagrange points, and then shops inside of them.
There's no okay, I have my money now. Now I can decide what to do with it. It's really just buying ships and equipment.
Yeah,
It's the only thing. If we get more options, what we can buy with, and not just for furthering our monetary gain in the game, but just for self-fulfillment in the game, right? That's what I mean, like being able to set up a manufacturing plant, right? Like from
Yeah.
something simple like, oh, I can build a crafting station, right? On a little station, and let's say you make a little station that's your home base in the Aaron Halo, right? Something like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That would be a good goal, right? And then you expand that, and
Yeah.
it's always the thing with these MMOs like Eve, right? The main goal is like to become really powerful, right? And like these organizations in Eve all have actual um they're like countries, right, in the game, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't seen even hints of that being a thing in Star Citizen, right? Like we will have homesteads, but it's like a 1 by 1 kilometer plot. If you think about if you have an org with like 400 people, that's gonna get really crowded if there's only like 2 people with plots, right?
Yeah. Well, you're gonna still have your ships, and like you're gonna use
Yeah,
your. But that's like the far future. Like habs are gonna
exactly.
come in like fucking 5 years from now, maybe.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Maybe.
Those things that really make you play just for the sake of playing it are far off,
Yeah,
right?
but like, let's say what makes you play Space Engineers? Crafting, right? Making
The,
your own shit.
in making my own things, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, crafting. I literally sit in the creative editor, make a
Mm-hmm.
ship, and then I build like assembly lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have my refinery, I have my input and output, right? And then everything like the
And you just
automation
make
of
a
it, right?
ship printer, basically.
Not necessarily a printer. Well, I guess now with projectors and all that, yeah, you can make a
Yeah.
printer,
Yeah.
right? That's kind of like my goal, right? And I always play like on PvP servers, so there's I need to build them as good as possible.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we don't have that with Star Citizen. Ships are what they are, right? They kind of have their roles. You can't make a miner out of a gladius, right? Or you can't really make your own proprietary ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's fine,
Which is
right?
fine, but like if those ships had like not the Gladius, of course, but like the Carrack and the bigger ships, if they had their own things inside of them, that would be
Yeah,
really cool. Like for example, the Carrack has so much potential. It has like an engineering thing. It has a bunch of things that you can
yeah,
like drones, etc. So if you could use that, you could actually like not even like it doesn't
mm,
making money doesn't really matter that much in a game. Like CEG needs to realize that we don't really
yeah,
need money. We need the experience. We need the journey. We need like stuff to
yep,
do to keep us
yep,
occupied. Money is cool. Like the in-game money is cool, but having a reason to grind, like it would be better to grind right now in the current state of the game. It would be better to grind until you get to like that one hammerhead. Like if you're doing bounties, for example. So you get that one hammerhead that is red. Let's say it's red,
mm,
and you know that in that hammerhead you have a quantum drive that is like the TS3 that you can't really find anymore, and
yeah,
you need that quantum drive for your character, for example. So you
mm,
pop it, you hop in, you kill the NPCs inside, which is going to happen probably this year because they're working on the meshing inside the ships.
the
Uh,
object container streaming, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so uh, at that point, I would want to see something like that. So like take out the TS3 or whatever the name is from the shops and give it to
yeah,
like certain
and
ships, the bounty ships,
yeah,
so you can get it from them, and that will be like a better
I,
way to grind. It's not about the money; it's about the component.
yeah. I think CRG is on board with that. We've seen this already with the Animus missile launcher and like a bunch of different guns, right? Like the railgun. They're
Hmm.
definitely on board with that idea, I assume.
Yeah,
And from what I understand, like a lot of equipment, like if you want to run military like hardware, you need an actual license to run that,
yeah.
right? Or like reputation. I'm not sure what it was. So I think they're on
Y-
board with that. They just haven't said anything about that for ages again, right?
well, they can't really say that because we don't have component salvage and we don't have
Yeah.
the like the meshes inside the ships
Mhm.
for NPCs to like walk around them. So
Yeah.
once we have that, then yes, we're gonna probably have all of that. but also I don't know if they're going to remember to put like certain unobtainable items in those ships, etc. So
Mm.
I don't know. Is there anything else?
I mean, as far as what the game really needs the most, I mean, obviously stability. People have said the MobyGlass, right? That's
Yeah.
pretty no-brainer. And just positional desync, we've had that. What I think needs to happen is that we really need to up the level of detail for just, being on foot, right? Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not even talking about combat, but the only thing that you do outside of shooting AI on the ground is right now in 318 moving boxes and shooting people, right?
Wait, when you say level of detail, what do you mean? Like graphic wise, or what?
No, like as in the tasks you have as being an FPS, right? Like
Okay.
like let's say, like you said, you're salvaging a component out of the ship. I can
Yeah.
already see problems with that. I know on the Redeemer, like how is that gonna happen unless you cut a hole in the ship because size 3 components through that little ladder hatch? That's not gonna work, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, things like that, right? Like
Actually, yes.
I see
Yeah.
problems there already, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think CRG is on board with that. We've seen it with the new Jumptown, right? It's a lot more FPS friendly. Like there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
more cover from the air and stuff like that. But you can still launch a torpedo or a bomb and like everyone just dies, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Um Spirit's gonna cause the same problem. They're just gonna drop bombs on everyone, even more so than the A2, I would say.
Cluster bombing. Yeah.
Yeah, like now it has like what, 10 or 12?
I think it's 10. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I forgot. But so what you're saying is that you want to see more like variations, or like what? Like different FPS missions, or
Maybe, yeah, I mean we have a variety of FPS missions, right? Like we have the
do
box
we
retrieval.
though?
I guess it's very limited actually. We have box retrieval, box delivery, FPS, like
Clear the
mercenary
bunker, kill
mission.
the one guy, and then you
Yeah,
have the last one that like is the most boring one, like destroy the stash, and that's
like
it.
interesting things would be like go like and then very open-ended missions like find me a sample of so and so, like find me a sample of when we have animals of this animal on Hurston or something, right?
Yeah.
Which are super open-ended. There's no markers. You just know I have to be on Hurston. I have to scan for something specific, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously you have to get on the ground and like take a sample, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
science missions. Um, things like that to really open up what we have to do right now. Yeah, like you said, it's just like shoot guys and like move boxes around. Quite
Yeah.
literally. That's the extent of it. There's no other mechanics, right? The mechanics pool of FPS is really shallow, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, the FPS obviously needs to work flawlessly. Like I know I play Star Marine a bit. The positional
Did you
desync.
really? Somebody actually played it. Okay.
I know I play it regularly, right? Just to because I'm PvP oriented, so I'm just like practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And the positional desync, even in Star Marine, which runs on 30 ticks, is awful, right?
Wait,
Like
it
you have
actually runs on 36. You
yeah,
saw the
because
30.
you can like it runs on 30 ticks, but you obviously only have like 16 people at most,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for an FPS in today's age, that's pretty awful, I would say.
I mean, if
And
you
you said
actually
that as
saw
well,
the
right?
36, I might need to like check this out on my
Yeah,
own. I actually never clicked on. I mean, I clicked on it by accident, but I never played a game
yeah.
of Star
It might
Marine.
it might drop a bit to like 25 when you're on an actual like very very active server, like very active lobby.
Very
But yeah,
active, 16 people.
yeah, right.
Amazing. Yeah,
The game targets the 30 FPS already, right? But
yeah.
it has no way of getting there, right? And I unless I really don't know how CIG is gonna do it. I think even in
Well,
arena
that's like
chips, right?
if it's
Drop
30
to
ticks and you still like see positional desync, it's just like netcode. It's bad
yeah,
netcode again.
really bad netcode, right? Extremely bad. Like as soon as you have 100 ping to 200 ping, which is not uncommon because we can just server hop,
Yeah.
um, you will have people shooting you through walls regularly, or you will just die instantly because you couldn't see someone and you were like standing still for your opponent, right? Like he just
Yeah, yeah,
peeked the corner and you're like standing still, not doing anything. He's like, oh, easy kill, right?
yeah.
That's pretty awful, and that needs to get a lot better, right? Otherwise, uh, I don't know how PvP is going to work out too well, because now with soft death and possibly Bounty Hunter V2, you probably can't just sit there and kill ships every day, left, right, and center, right? Like you have to actually go out EVA and like, I don't know, apprehend someone or shoot him with a taser, like the Uber or whatever, right? So you can't sit there and just hop in your ship and like fly around, kill everything, because you'll eventually have to hop out, and then you'll notice the
Especially
sh-
now in 318, like with the soft death mechanics, you're
yeah,
gonna do that a lot.
yeah, a lot
And
more. Yeah,
yeah, and it looks really good until you get to the PvP part,
yeah.
and then everything just like falls apart basically.
I'm not even gonna like comment on the balance of PvP at the moment or like FPS. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, go
Of,
ahead.
I mean,
That's
there's certain
something that you
weapons,
want to see in the game fixed, or that's something that you
maybe not
need most.
fixed,
So
but
yeah,
give it an actual reason to be there, like grenade launchers. Why do we have those? Right? Like why? Why are they a thing? I know I was
I mean they're better than the grenades because the grenades you're gonna toss
yeah,
them and they're gonna drop like below your
yeah,
feet and
yeah,
you're dead.
exactly, right? But
So
the
yeah,
grenade launcher is like so out of whack. I know I was boarding a guy, and everyone has one now, right? Because of the like last year's like events, everyone has a grenade launcher in the inventory now.
yeah,
So you'll come into a ship and like he's just gonna hide in the cockpit. I had this with a Corsair, right? They hide in the cockpit. I open the door and I have like a bunch of grenades flying my way. Not very fun, right? Not a lot
yeah.
of chance I had there. Still killed one of them, and then had
I
to
mean
wait for a friend to pick me up, right?
that
It's
that was my main issue when they like announced the Legionnaire. I was like,
yeah,
okay, so you're
yeah,
gonna talk to a Kerak or a 90, and on the other side you're gonna have a guy with a grenade launcher, and he's just gonna toss one in, and you're all dead,
everyone's
and
dead.
like it was just
Yeah.
pointless.
The only thing I can see that fixed is we need like these Titan suits that can just shrug off shit like that, or we need some form of protection from high explosives. Either you're in like a bomb suit, right, or you have
Yeah,
portable shields. That's the only way I can see that work. I think
riot
portable
shields.
shields are a thing, right? They're supposed to be in the game, but
Well, like riot
like,
shields or
no, like portable bubble shields and shit like that. I think they're supposed to be in the game.
I've heard about them, but like you gotta double check it because I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
I'm gonna assume it's a big maybe to get bubble shields because
Yeah,
of how they're supposedly gonna work. They probably need a power plant, power supply, whatever, right? So
yeah,
that's either a maybe or it's really far away, right? I know
yeah.
about beacons. I mean, beacons are a thing that we might get soon. So, being down, able to put down a marker, right? And that's gonna be
Instead
nice.
of going and picking up a box so you can place it on another guy's ships, you can
Track it.
pirate them.
Yeah,
Like yeah,
yeah,
we really need that.
yeah. And that's gonna be so nice. Like when you can decide, I want this to broadcast to everyone, or maybe just to my org, right?
But
Org integration
honestly,
is
I
very
think that's like the easiest thing to do. Like not placing a beacon on a guy, but placing a beacon for yourself. Like in space engineers, how they do it.
yeah, you can GPS coordinates. Yeah, you can.
Yes, and
Yeah,
it's just like tied to the GPS coordinates of the game, and it's just like
yeah.
a marker for you, and that's it. And then you can share it with people, or you can just share it with yourself, and that's it. So I think
Mm.
that like also one of the things that I would love to see in the game soon, like maybe even in 318.1, would be a compass, a fucking working
Yeah.
compass when you're FPSing,
I've
like in
I've had a
Squad.
post on Spectrum. Yes, I
Hmm.
shouldn't have, but
Yeah,
talking about, I got a bit inspired. I got the idea like we're getting master modes where ships have their, what is it, 3 different modes, right? Combat, nav mode, and then QCM or whatever,
uh-huh.
right? And I got me the idea, why not have certain like modes for FPS, right? Like where you have, like, I enter my navigation mode and then I have like all this cool shit to navigate, right? Like a really detailed map.
Like on your HUD.
Yeah, like on the HUD, right? Like you have a helmet and then like you
Making
enter a mode,
maps
right?
for this game is like maps of the environment when you're on a planet or whatever. That's impossible. Like the only way to do it is to have like the only way that I know of to do it is to make like another basically bird's eye view that's gonna
I mean,
scan everything around you, basically like a mini map.
to an extent, I mean, you can already zoom in quite far into planets. It's not going to be super detailed, of course, but if it
Yeah,
gets the message
but I'm
across
saying
that
like
there's a mountain 50
it's
clicks
another
away from
render, so it would
yeah,
need it would need to be because like the planets are procedural, and every time they change something on the planets, the planet itself is going to change.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
can't really make a map of it. So it
yeah,
would need to be like another render, and then you have like your client, your
yeah.
PC would need to render the game twice. That's like why don't we have like why we don't have the mirrors. The mirror is basically in most of the games, unless you're using like the new technologies of ray tracing, etc. You would use the mirrors as a second render. Like it's
Mhm.
most of the games, if you noticed, like you run the game at 4K and then you see that like the mirror is at like 720p.
Yeah,
That's why. So
exactly.
it doesn't
Low
like
quality.
put a strain on your PC. And then on the other hand, you need all the mirrors to be like they're all tied to the fucking servers, right?
Yeah.
And all the ships have some mirrors, and it's a pain in the ass. And I know that they started working on it last year, but I don't think that like they got far with it. Like the
Yeah,
only
like
way to do it is like ray tracing at this point.
yeah, it's not necessarily that we need like a detailed map in that idea I had, right? But like just a way to be more to get a bit of situational awareness, right? Just
Yeah.
like I talked even about like in a combat mode, like if you're in an org and you assign a commander, that guy can like ping stuff for you, right? He can look at your position and like offset it, right? Say, oh, there's a guy in the hill, just ping that, right?
Yeah.
Shit like that, right? Just teamwork is, enhanced. Yeah.
We really need that. Like I don't need the pinging system or pinging mechanic.
Yeah,
I just need a compass. Because
not
like
necessarily pinging, but like just marking something on your
yeah,
HUD, right?
yeah.
Like not even like it plops up and it gives you like a notification, just like an indicator. Um,
I mean, they
for
need to
like
fucking fix the party system before that.
yeah, I
Honestly,
would I would really love to see a redo of the party system to be less. It looks very childish, like with the big clips on your screen, right? It just block
Mhm.
like a tenth of your screen alone,
So
right?
since you like Squad,
Yeah,
I made a post and of course nobody responded. I tried to ask the devs to do a voice comm mechanic like Mumble, or like Squad has Mumble, or Project
yeah,
Reality uses Mumble,
yeah, yeah. Like
and I
that's
think
a
that will like
yeah.
do really good for the game because you can do it right now, but you need to like
I
hop into
think
your MobyGlass.
Yeah, I think it would be really easy if we could assign keybinds to certain channels, right? Like
Yes.
we can already make the group channels or like private channels that we can invite people to. If we can assign keybinds to that, that would be a long way, right? Like that would be that basically, and we can customize it to our liking.
Yeah.
Um, right now, the only way you can get that feasibly is I don't know, like I guess SRS, like DCS SRS. You can get like channels, different keys, but
There are some people that are actually using SRS
yeah, I
in
know.
Star Citizen. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've used it as well, right? And
Hmm.
it works really well. It's just very milsimmy. Like not a lot of
Yeah.
people will enjoy that.
Yes.
It needs to be in the game for sure. That's
Yeah.
why Squad, like that's why you still see a lot of people communicating in Squad with Squad's voice comms because that's how good it is, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Exactly. It's much better than having Discord. It's
yeah.
much better than Gilded. It's much better than SRS.
Yep.
It is
Yep.
arcadey, but it is like you
It's
can just press. It just works.
it
You just press a
serves
button
the
and you
game.
talk to the other squad. Hmm?
It serves the game wonderfully, right? And
Yes.
Star Citizen could benefit a lot from having a voice comm system that serves the game's purposes, right? Combat
Exactly.
be the main thing. I don't need to talk to a guy if I'm mining with him, right? If we have a mole or something, I don't need to talk to the guy, right? But if I'm in
I mean, you
combat,
have local chat, so
yeah,
yeah.
you have local, right? But like if I'm in combat, I want to be able to just easily reach out to another squad that we have assigned, right?
Yeah.
That and that's not a thing, right? There's a lot of hoops in the game that you have to jump through to get that, right? So
Yeah.
all the interaction and how you can organize is very arcane stuff. If that could get better, that would probably make the game more bearable, right? You could play it for longer periods of times without getting
Yes.
burnt out, because it's just easier to organize, right? I would even say to make it even easier is I could pick my home location, yes, but before I join a server, I could pick a location to travel to, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, my home location is Orison, and I'm at Orison right now, but all my friends right now are at New Babbage. Let me go to New Babbage. I won't have anything claimed over there, but I'm there, right, with my friends.
Mhm.
That would be a huge improvement.
Are you talking about like a fast travel system though?
In a way, right? Like you join a server, but you can pick where you spawn, right? Like
Well, that's not gonna happen because like that
yeah,
breaks the immersion and the realism.
I
So
guess
what you
I guess
need to have is like you need to have a home base, like your whole org needs to have a home base. That's what I
yeah.
did with my orgs. Like our home base was Lorville and then
Yeah,
like Everest, and that's it.
having a home base would loop back to what I said originally, that you can create your own space stations, right?
Yeah.
Wherever there's not a claim, right? Like in free UE space, not necessarily all the companies in Stanton, right? Like if I'm in the Air and Halo and we can finally join Shard specifically, like we can say, oh, we all join Shard 40 on the EU, right? Meaning we can always come back to that base until we have proper server meshing.
Yeah. I
Then
mean,
that'd be nice.
your home base at some point will be your ship, like your
Yeah,
Carrack, your
your
Hammerhead,
ship.
your
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. At some
So
point, and the next step would be to have actual bases, right? Where you can pool a lot of equipment. Let's say, you have like an org that really collects a lot of salvage. You can pool that and like hoard that and wait until the price hikes up in salvage to get a lot of extra money, right?
yeah,
Things like
that
that.
will be ideal, but I don't know. I don't think that that's going to happen because they said that the economy is going to be ran mostly by NPCs and it's going to be like
Yeah.
a 10-to-1 ratio. So mm, maybe we will be able to affect the economy, but to what
Th-
extent, I'm not sure.
That's what I mean, like in your org, right? You have your org base, meaning you already have like a large pool of players that
Hmm.
together you can impact the economy a lot, right? But not alone,
Yeah.
obviously. Right? Alone, you have like, let's say you can manufacture, you have a capacity of producing like 10 guns per day, something small like that, just hypothetically.
Yeah.
But if you're in an org, you have so much input in resources, you can really churn out weaponry, components, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then you can create an actual impact. And I think that's the intention, right? Orgs have an impact, but not individual players to the economy.
All right. Anything else?
No, it's nice
Okay.
talking to you. Thanks.
Nice talking to you too. Thank you for hopping on, and thank you for. Did you win the match in Project Reality?
I wasn't really having a match. I was just like kind of flying around, getting to know the game because I haven't
Oh
played.
yeah, you haven't played it. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially with Squad, how it is right now.
Yeah.
Um, it's quite refreshing actually having proper mechanics in a game and
Exactly.
content. Like the amount of factions in Project Reality is insane, and the amount of things you can do. Like imagine Squad, but
But better. But it looks like shit, but it's still better. Just
yeah,
don't try CAS. Like try
oh yeah,
transport choppers first,
yeah,
and
transport.
don't even try
Sure.
flying jets because you're gonna get decimated.
Yeah, I've played a lot of Battlefield 2, so the flight mechanics are second nature to me. I just literally picked it back up and it was like already flying through tunnels
Yeah,
on
it is.
Ultra.
They did
Yeah,
change them to a degree,
yeah,
but
they're
yeah,
just
we
slugging
can
shit.
talk about this off stream. I can show you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
some things.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you for joining. I'm gonna be ending
Thanks so
the
much.
stream right now. But that was Auburn, and he was amazing as always. Thank you guys for joining my stream. I am very tired and I am very hungry. The VOD of this is gonna be on Twitch, but also I'm gonna post it on my YouTube channel as soon as I download it and cut it up so people don't see all the issues and all the glitches. Can I go to this screen? Is this gonna work? Jesus Christ. Like everything that could go wrong today, it just went wrong. But thank you for watching. And since this is going to YouTube, thank you to all my patrons and my channel members and all the supporters. You're here. You're probably being shown here. You're amazing. And keep on being amazing, and I'm very tired. Also, there is merch if you want to check it out. The merch store is linked somewhere on Twitch. It's in the chat. There's also a thing on the chat on the like about section on YouTube. It's down in the description. All the designs are made by me. Most of them are funny. Some of them are a bit cringe, but that's how life is. And yeah, check it out. You don't need to buy anything. If you want to buy something, that's like the best way for you to support me, because you are getting something in return. The quality is amazing. And with that said, keep calm and buy an address, and don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space. And goodbye, and thank you guys, and thank you to Salty Mike that like sent most of you here. Don't forget to subscribe or no follow. How I'm still trying to learn how Twitch works, so don't forget to subscribe with Prime if you have Prime, and Twitch and all the Twitch things. I don't know, follow. So yeah, thank you for being here. It was fun, and bye. See ya.